So good morning, everyone, again. Our title of today's service is Sacred Steps, Walking Peace into Being. Interesting topic for today. And I chose to open it with a quote, and it is by Miles Kingston, and it's so appropriate. It says, he goes on to say that everyone wants peace and they will fight the most terrible war to get it.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, like many of you, over these last few months, I was very impacted by, and on the positive note, those amazing Buddhist monks that walked across the United States. And it was very impactful for many of us. And they touched us in a way that not many things have touched us in a very long time. And so they were peace walkers. And what I thought to talk about today, after being inspired by them, since March is Women's History Month, I decided to talk about a woman, a peace walker that was a woman that's not as well known as many, but walks like no other. Her name is Peace Pilgrim. And one of my favorite tasks, the reason that she came into my life, Peace Pilgrim, is that when we were in seminary, we were asked to, every month, pick a name from a list of spiritual, historical figures that impacted the world. And in, I think it was January of 2013, they gave us a list, and she was on that list. I picked her, and it was a no-brainer. She just blew me away what she did with her life. And one of the reason that I was so inspired by her was her preparation to go and walk and be a person of peace in the world. It doesn't just happen. We prepare ourselves for transition in our life. So I'd like to share with you a little bit about her life from beginning. Right, I want to talk about her life. I want to talk about it in detail, because I think when we talk about somebody in detail, we really get to know them, not just this day, that day, and what she did. So there was nothing remarkable about her at first. She was born in 1908 and grew up in a poultry farm in New Jersey. Her family had no religion. The first time she was ever in a church was when she was 16 to go to attend a wedding. She was the captain of our high school debate team, class valedictorian, and she was known to be a flapper. She had to make sure her shoes matched her dress to go out dancing all the time. That was her thing. At 25, she eloped and married a man named Stanley Ryder, who the family didn't really think was a good match for her. They had little in common. He wanted a homemaker. She disliked housework. He wanted a quiet wife. She had a mouth. On the onset of World War II, Stanley wanted to enlist, and she forbade him because she was a pacifist. The marriage ended up in divorce. Seems like that was the best thing for both of them. The impact of war, divorce, and her father had passed away, set her into a deep search. We all know that point in our life when everything kind of falls apart, right? When we're in big suffering, that's when newness happens. That's when we look deeper often. And she had an epiphany. She had an awakening that she was meant to do something in the world, to give her life to something beyond herself. And she started a 15-year preparation period, not even knowing what she was going to do, but knowing that she had to do it. She had to do something. And so what she did is she spent her 30s on a mission to give. She worked in senior citizen homes. She worked with emotionally disturbed people. She volunteered for peace organizations. She worked with Quaker Friends, and she worked with the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom. She became a vegetarian. She gave up caffeine. She stopped eating white flour and sugar decades before anybody would ever tell you to stop eating white flour and sugar. She strove to overcome what she defined as her lower impulses, and she worked she was focused on saying, if you're motivated to do or say anything mean, you could always think of something good instead. In 1952, she became the first woman to walk the Appalachian Trail by herself from one end to the other in one season. All right, they didn't have REI back then, the hiking poles, the great shoes. Imagine.
Wow.
Amazing, amazing. Shortly thereafter, the Korean War was raging and McCarthyism was just completely dividing the United States. She became aware. She had her answer. The call was, and she had a vision to this, that she was going to do a pilgrimage for peace. And she imagined a map of the United States with zigzags on it. And then she knew. And so she set out on, what was the date? What year? 1952. I think it was 1953. She set out on, I think it was New Year's Day, to walk coast to coast. And she set out walking in front of the Pasadena Rose Parade and giving out pamphlets about peace. And all she had with her was a tunic that said Peace Pilgrim on the front, and on the back it said walking coast to coast for peace. And she ended up being interviewed. They put an article out. I don't remember what newspaper created an article on her, but she said that the world, and these were her words, and boy, do they sound exactly the same now. She said the world is the world situation is grave, she said. She continued by saying, humanity, with fearful, faltering steps, walks a knife's edge between abysmal chaos and a new renaissance, while strong forces push towards chaos. And she said, yet there is hope. From that day forward, she became Peace Pilgrim. And she was 45 years old, and she walked for 28 years. She said, I vow to remain a wanderer until mankind has learned the way of peace. She carried no money and relied on the kindness of strangers. All she had with her in her pockets was a comb, a folding toothbrush, a ballpoint pen, and copies of her messages. After her first pilgrimage, she became a popular speaker. People heard about her, and they started inviting her to churches and schools. And her messages were this: this is the way of peace. Overcome evil with good, falsehood with truth, and hatred with love. Her definition of peace included peace among nations, among people, and most importantly, peace within oneself. She said, for only with inner peace, she believed, can true peace be achieved. Her people heard her, but they heard her through their own tradition. She spoke to them in their mind as a Catholic, or as a Christian, or as a Jew, or as a Sikh, or as a Buddhist. However anybody's tradition was, her walk and her giving of self spoke to every religion, every tradition. She said, I know there's nothing new in my message, it's just the practice of it that is new. She walked across the country 7 times. In 1964, she stopped counting miles after reaching 25,000. She wore out 29 pairs of sneakers, averaging 1,500 miles per pair, and if you add that up, that's 63,500 miles. That's almost twice around the earth. The FBI investigated her for un-American activities. Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise. For un-American activities. So she legally changed her name to Peace Pilgrim. She was no longer Mildred. And they kept files on her until 1967. On July 7th, 1981, on the way to a speaking engagement, someone invited to give her a ride So here she is in a car. And that vehicle was struck by an oncoming car and she was killed.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God.
Crazy, right? And before she died, she told a friend, when my work on this planet is done, I want to move out quickly. And she would talk about death saying, I see it as a glorious transition to freer living. So when I was talking about why I picked Peace Pilgrim to talk about in seminary and her 15 years of in her transition, what moved me was it was only from the work she had done within herself that she was able to dedicate herself to awakening humanity. She was fully engaged in what she believed to be the most important thing, showing us all the potential we have when we're inspired at our core level. She was anchored in the universal truth, and this is what hits me, hits my heart, is that we are all connected, that we are all one. She spoke of peace in a time of war and of universal spirituality when that wasn't even something anybody spoke about. It wasn't a concept that anybody even engaged in, really. She believed there was good in every human heart, no matter how deeply it's buried, and that people only scratch the surface of their own potential. She shared that no one walks so safely as one who walks humbly and harmlessly with great love and great faith. And she said that this works between individuals, and it works between groups, and it would work between nations if anybody would have the courage to try it, if nations would have the courage to try it. So
It's humbling.
So what is it, right, that gets us about this, right? I can see all your faces. I can see everybody's shoulder drop, shoulders going down, as you hear about Peace Pilgrim in a time where we live with such chaos. The same kind of feeling happened when we watched the Buddhist monks, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, when the Buddhist monks left, I'm gonna talk about both of them now and that impact of people that walk for peace. You know, there were many people have been peace pilgrims. I want to just throw that out there. Martin Luther King was a peace pilgrim. Mahatma Gandhi, Cesar Chavez, Desmond Tutu, Satash Kumar. These are all people that walked pilgrimages for peace. Nobody walked anything like Peace Pilgrim, but all of them. But there's something that happens to us when we witness that. When the Buddhist monks left, they didn't think they were going to impact people. They didn't think anybody was going to really know. They just thought they were going to take a walk for peace, their group. And somehow, every town, every city they walked to, thousands, not soon after the word got out, and thousands of people would just come to them and bow. You saw policemen, you saw people weeping, you saw flowers being held, blessings being given. Every kind of human being, all kinds of political parties, political leanings, all kinds of human beings just came out, wept, touched, received blessings. Something about someone who walks, who becomes peace themselves, has an effect on the world around them. They disarm us. They make our hearts awaken to their authenticity. They make us feel hope again. And they help us, or they actually make us remember who we really are, because that's in every one of us, that peace. It's the thing that we're yearning for. It's the thing that makes us cry when we see acts like what happened today. It's because all we really want is peace, right? In the words of the Beatitudes, blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called the children of God. That is, for those that might not know, that is the Sermon on the Mount that Jesus had given. That is one small phrase of it. But there is a yearning to be that peace. We want that ourselves. We want to feel like that, right? Don't we want to feel that peace that those monks embody? We want to have that in our own being. And you know, inviting that intention into our lives is something we can do. I'm not suggesting that we go walk across the country and wear out our sneakers. But I am inviting us to, as we leave this space today, well, first I want to say before we leave this space, before I move into our closing words, is that typically every week I close with these words, our complete service. I say, go in peace and be the peace you wish to see in the world. And that's their message. That's all of their messages, right? We could donate money, we can march, we could express our outrage, but the big work is to be the peace we want to see in the world. And it starts by shifting the consciousness within ourselves towards peace. And this is the greatest spiritual directive that any of us could try to bring into our lives. So as we leave today, in closing, I invite you gently to carry that peace with you in your consciousness, into your homes, into your lives, into your hearts, however you can invite it in. However you can bring that into your heart, into your lives. May it be held within you, may it grow within you, and may it offer you the warmth within that you could also share with the world around you, however you choose to. Thank you, friends. May it be so. If you like this video, please like us on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and click on the bell to be notified whenever we post a new video. Thank you.